What's up, YouTube? I have Jake McGee. He is one of the latest regional winners in the UK. He won Geek Retreat Leeds Regional. He got first placed. Jake, how many players were there, to be exact?
It was 100 players there.
Okay, 100 players.
Exactly, yeah. It got capped at 100.
Nice, good job. Good, definitely a nice size regional to win. And you got 6 wins, 1 draw, right?
Yeah, I drew with Eldritch round 2 and then won out all the others.
Nice, not bad. Definitely a good result. So Jake played DRAGONLINK for the event. How was DRAGONLINK at this point in the format for you?
I think it's so good because, like, if you've played previous DRAGONLINK before, you've got such like a knowledge going into like a new format. You know so much, like, you know all the deck's interactions, and then obviously you add in the brave stuff to it, and it's like you're going into a new format with a deck you already know, and that's just such an advantage.
Right.
Like when it gets like the turn 3s, the turn 5s, like and you know the little interactions that are going to keep you ahead in the game. It's just such an advantage.
Nice, nice. Viewers who are watching, if you've got any questions about the deck list and in the profile, just make the comments in the comment box below. And if you've not already subscribed to the channel, click that subscribe button and click on that bell as well for notifications. All right, Jake. If without further ado, let's go into the profile.
Yeah, no worries. So I played 50 card DRAGONLINK. I played the Brave Engine in it as well. Like the Brave Engine is it's so good. Like as soon as you resolve the Brave Engine, you're too far ahead in the game. So I played the Foolish. I maxed out on everything the Brave Engine I could. So I played the 3 Enchantress, the 3 Right, the Fateful, the Draco Back, and the Griffin. Originally, I didn't like the Draco Back. Like I was never going to play because I was like, it's extra bricks, but the card is it's unbelievable going second. It does too much, and obviously the free discard off Right as well. It's just you can't give that up. Then like for the starters, I played 3 Black Metal Dragon. I was always on this when because I played DRAGONLINK for the previous format, like I was saying earlier, like before the bird format. So I was always on triple Black Metal Dragon. Triple Chaos Space, just like extra starters. I was just trying to max out on the amount of starters. And because I've gone up to 50, you've just got to try and get as many starters in as you can because you just don't want to brick. Because like bricking is a real problem. And that's why I didn't play a lot of other decks. Like the base and the 10E synchro. I just feel like there's too many bricks in the deck. And like even on the hand traps, like I've cut down on the bricks. Like I wouldn't play gammas because like the drive is just like it's just extra bricks. So like they're your starters if you like, and then the White Dragon and the Black Dragon, absolutely crazy, especially the Chaos Space. Like you get an add this free discard, and it's just unbelievable. The RDMD obviously to go with the Black Metals, the Strudo. I'd cut the Strudo for like I basically played this deck for like a week before the event. Based it off like Jordan Gallagher's list pretty close to it. And I didn't really like the Strudo because I was trying to cut down on the amount of cards so I could see the Brave Engine more because I was like when I resolve the Brave Engine I win. But I cut it out because it's very situational when it comes up when you want to Ravine, send a Strudo and like not something else for your combo, or like when you open it. But basically I had a problem with consistency, so I just added the Strudo in as like I was happy to see it in my hand. And that's the same reason for the Noctos as well. So like I know a lot of people aren't on Nocto, and I know this isn't standard, but you've got to people that just seem to think that you're always going to draw Right Black Metal Dragon. That's not the case. Nocto works with so many of like it works with the Rocket Synchron, it works with the Trace when it's on, it works with Recharger if that's it. It just does standard old DRAGONLINK stuff with the Nocto, and then if you've got the right, it still works and it still gets you the draw. And worst case scenario, if you don't want to summon the Nocto, you can always drop the Nocto off the Hulk summon, off like the Red Rose that you summon off the Hulk. And as well, this is a level 7, so you can synchro with it into Baron. And as well, like if you get halfway through the combo and you're always using Pisty in this new deck now, like you're always using Pisty, you never used to use it that much in the old DRAGONLINK. You can Pisty back the Nocto, and it's just so good. It just chain blocks everything. It's insane. It's cracked Nocto.
Nice.
So I've still got some more stuff, just clearing some space. Quick launch, the deck's E-Telly, it's crazy. It's unbelievable. It's not once per turn either. It's wild. I don't know why they made that not once per turn. So slightly different. I played for my rocket package. I played 2 Synchron, 2 Abs, 1 Tracer, 1 Recharger. I've always been on one tracer for like the longest time, even with the previous DRAGONLINK as well, because like the previous DRAGONLINK had like 3 Surfer, 3 Black Metal Dragon, 3 Chaos Space, and like 40 cards. That was a lot of starters, and it was like you don't want to go into a normal summon problem. I know if you draw the tracer, you can boot it out, but like if you want Savage, you want the Romulus in the grave anyway, and half the time in your combo you've got enough extenders to get to Romulus anyway. You might as well search the Ravine anyway.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't really want to see Tracer in my opening hand. I don't really want a normal summon Tracer, especially with the Brave stuff, because like your normal summon Tracer you can't even use its effect.
Yeah.
So you definitely don't want that. And basically, if you resolve the full combo, I'm assuming everyone knows the full combo now that ends Baron, Savage, Seal with the Snow Engrave. That combo has a really bad problem with a turn 3 if they're out the board. So it's like the nib droplets problem that like Hoban goes on about. Like I always listen to Hoban like whenever he speaks, guys are god. But if you get nib, like you can play around nib now because you've got the brave stuff. You can't really play around droplets. If your field gets outed, right, and you've used your 1-abs already, let's say you've used a synchron in the combo, and you have your seal, you just tribute seal to get this because you know you're probably not going to die through a snow, and then this you get extra follow up, and like this is such an incredible push turn 3. I'll go into a bit later on when I go through the extra deck about like what I do turn 3, and the way I play this deck is slightly different. Like I don't throw everything at the wall. I like to try and keep a couple of cards in hand, and like that's why the knock does help as well, because they just get you into more stuff. Because I'm trying to like if you resolve your combo turn 1, they're in the out the board, the chances of them killing you and putting up like 2 negates are just so slim, because you've got like worst case scenario you can use seal to tribute the snow and you've got 2 snows, so I just don't think you get an OTK'd through that.
Yeah.
I've never been OTK'd through that, so I just don't think that's a problem of getting OTK'd. So you need to prepare for the turn 3 if your board's being outed, and I think that's what a lot of people are missing at the moment with this deck. So I play a standard Red Rose, Rocks Rose, and Basil, just for the Halt combo. Like this stuff, but you don't want to see it obviously. But if you do see it, I mean, aside from the Basil, like it's not too bad. I mean, you don't really want to see this if you've got Brave, but like if you've got Brave and you're opening the 1-of and it's to the point where you need to search, like your hands, probably weren't winning that game anyway. It's just I didn't they make the deck so much better, but I didn't really want to play them because it's just like sort of 3 extra bricks.
Yeah.
But you just have to play them. It raises the ceiling so much. It fixes the Lancia problem the deck used to have. It fixes the draw problem the deck used to have to an extent. Like it just solves so many problems. I feel like you need to play it. The 2 field spells, the Ravine and the Boot. Obviously, you never want to see the Boot. You don't mind not seeing the Ravine because you don't have to make ROM. But then the Snow, standard, and then sort of slightly off standard because I put the 3 Noctos in to help with the consistency of the deck and the Destrudo. And obviously I was playing 2 abs, 2 synchron. My deck count's getting pretty high now. And I don't want to not open a hand trap in today's format, because if your opponent resolves their full combo the way you want to do it, no matter what the deck they're playing, VW, Prankids, Brave DRAGONLINK, whatever, they're probably going to just straight up beat you. Like there's going to be no way you're going to be able to out that board and not get killed by an access code on like turn 3. So I definitely wanted some hand traps, but like I sort of like going second card. So I started with the droplets because I wasn't originally on this, because a lot of like good players have been saying to cut droplets, because if you've got like droplets and a hand trap, you sort of don't really know what to do. But the deck, there's a fair amount of decent things that you don't mind discarding off droplets in this deck. So like it's not as bad as like a sword, so where you sort of need all the cards in your hand. So I played droplets. That was really good. Obviously it's an out to Scythe as well, because if they're playing around droplets, they're playing around Nib with the Scythe, you would probably never going to win that game anyway.
Yeah.
But this is really good, especially with the amount of based and 10-year synchro and all that kicking about. I just really wanted droplets in the main.
Okay.
And obviously Pranked it's good against as well. Drolls, I like wanted like an impactful hand trap as well. Like this slot I didn't really know what to put in. But I wanted like a high impact hand trap that could just like obviously shut them out. And there's so much searching going on in the game now. I mean, like if you hit them off the Draco back search off the adventure and you draw them there, like you're already stopping them getting to the Omni Negate. So like people say it's a neg 1, but you've stopped them getting to an Omni Negate. So you just sort of went 1 for 1, but locked them out for the rest of the turn.
Yeah.
So I think draw's really good. Ghost Ogre is obviously like one of the best hand traps this format. Like the card's insane.
Yeah.
Even like against playing against VW, and like obviously keep like I sort of thinking about taking it out, whatever. But game 1, he's Chuche, and I can just Ghost Ogre the Chuche. Like it is so good. And then obviously it's a light tuner as well. So normal summoning Gorga, like it shouldn't come up as often as it does, but it definitely does come up.
Yeah.
And then Vela as well. So that I upped these hand traps. I upped like the go in second cards to 12 go in second cards because I went up to 50 cards. But like the Brave stuff's also really good go in seconds, so I count that as good go in second cards. So that's like a 50 card. That's a 50 card main deck.
Okay.
If you'd have told me last year or like a couple of years ago that I'd be on a 50 card main deck, I'd be like, nah, not a chance. But with the Brave stuff, like you just have to go up.
Yeah.
The Brave stuff is so good. It's worth changing your whole deck building mindset for. And I think until you increase the amount of cards, play more Brave stuff, you don't realize how good the Brave stuff is until you've actually played it for yourself. And then when you play it for yourself and you realize how good it is, like I won't stop playing the Brave stuff until it gets banned, or like there is absolutely no good decks with it. But I think it'll have to get banned first because I think there'll always be a deck that works really well with Brave.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll go in the extra deck. Okay. Strike Dragon standard, Pissed standard for the combo. Hulk, 1 seal. I was on 1 seal for ages with the old Dragonlink because I played DP in my old Dragonlink, so I'm completely used to running 1 seal. Games don't tend to go on to the point where you'd need 2 seal anyway.
Okay.
Rom, like, searches Fiend, which searches like any dragon. It's ridiculous. The other effect has never come up for me yet, but I know the other effect, like when you summon from the extra special one for your hand, but it just never comes up. But I'm looking for a time when it does. The Dark, this is sort of like part of my turn free strategy, just to get into Unicorn, to get into Access Code. It's just clearing so much stuff.
Yeah.
And it like taking a Drytron player's DPE and then having them have to revive the Dasher, and then they're locked out for the turn. It's great. Like it makes that match so much easier. Unicorn, Link climbing into Access Code, Triple Burst for the combo. Access Code itself, cards, I don't want to say ban worthy, but it's actually ridiculous, especially in this deck.
I think it is ban worthy.
Yeah, I agree. Like I think it needs to go, because if you do the standard combo and you have like you have Hulk, Rom, Spears and Pisty, that's 4 pops and a 5/3 body. Like that is ridiculous. How is that fair? And it's just like 2 monsters as well. Like that's a joke. Like why is it 2 monsters? It's not even like a Bubble Sword, which is like 3. For part of the combo, Rise of Dragon, Baron. I think this card's going to go up. Like this card is just so good in every single deck, especially when you run the Brave. And I think this is the best way to utilize the Brave, to be synchronized with the stuff. Otherwise, you just end up with a random token on the field doing nothing. You might as well turn the Griffin into a Baron and then have the token to play with as well.
Yeah.
And the token being a level 4 non-tuner is just, it comes up so much to like make synchros. So I think it's like really good. Boral Savage. Obviously I always go. I don't know how other people play this, because I've watched like a couple of videos on DB Grinder's channel, what have you, but I don't know how people play this deck, but I always go Savage Baron, Seal first turn. Like people try and dig with the Chaos Ruler, and like I can see the advantage of that because you might see a hand trap, but I don't want to be like putting everything in to a Chaos Ruler and then trying to turn it into a hot red, and when I could just have the Savage anyway. Because they're not playing, like if they're playing through 2 Omni Negates, a Seal Bounce, and 2 Snowbucker Moons, like total, if you have to do that. I don't normally like doing a second Snowbucker Moon, but if they're doing that, you are losing that game anyway, so there's no point trying to like salvage that. Chaos Ruler, this is like for my crackback, to be honest. I normally make this turn 3. I'll make it turn 1, if like my hand's awful. Like there was one game against VW that I made this, and I'd like just to like try and mill something to get the engine going because I'd bricked really bad, and I think I got ashed on like a Fateful as well, so I just had to go into this. But I do really like this for the turn 3 because you can summon it, link off into access code, bring it back, that's A3. And you've done like, you've got the mills, you've got an ad, you brought this back, you've got 4 pops off your access code, that's A3 damage is winning all the time. Obviously the hot red, like it comes up too much, you can't, you know, it's a perfect card. And then sort of this, like this is the flex extra deck spot. So like people playing IP, people playing quad, other different things. I chose to play Scarlet. This wasn't because of time. This was genuinely because when I do the standard combo, because I'm not trying to like do too much. That's a thing. Like I've been like listening to like a lot of like, you know, Fraser Smith's I'm Nerd podcast, and like a lot of the things on there, like a lot of the older players are like trying to like tell everyone that resource management, like even though it's not as big as it used to be, you can't just like throw everything and have nothing and just hope that they don't break your board, especially when we've got such powerful board breakers like Dark Wheeler and Droplets and whatnot, especially in this deck. This deck like gets hit by Dark Wheeler a lot more. Not that I'm saying people are on it because it's safe, but you need to think about the turn 3. So if I leave the boot up, which I always do because I try and pop the Fateful Adventurer with the Tracer, boot into this just applies so much pressure because you can clear their whole board, and if you don't clear their board, then obviously it burns a negate that they have, and then because I go seal summon the abs, I get the Synchron. I can normal summon a Synchron, bring this back, make hot red, and it's like then I'm getting a tuner back because I'm attacking. It's a negate, and this obviously comes up in time. It didn't win me a game in time, but it won me like a random game against Eldritch because they had like Heavenly Sphere, Heavenly Prison, a couple of Golden Lords, and I just summoned this and went like effect, and I had a hot red on the field at the same time. So I was like just gonna negate like whatever they brought out, and then I got one because he was on like 200 life or something ridiculous. Obviously you need your tokens for the Brave Engine now. The side was like this was sort of the biggest point of discussion for me. I was pretty happy with the main. It was just trying to like figure out what I was going to play against, because I've been to like a couple of UK regionals recently, and you're just playing like wild stuff that's like not entirely meta. Like I've played like 9 Eldritch decks in the last 3 UK regionals I've been to, so I was trying to like cater a bit more towards them. So a lot of the side deck is, but I also wanted to try my best to like hit Scythe, because at the end of the day, this format, if they resolve their full combo in the Cypher, you have lost that game. You go game 2, you resolve your full combo, you might win. But then game 3, if they like, especially if they bring out a Brave card like Brave PK, they bring out the Brave card. That's like burning a hand trap of yours. You have to open 2 hand traps. Like how many hand traps do you have to play in 50 to open 2 hand traps? Quite a lot. That adds to bricking. So I was just trying to like catch them sort of before they got to Scythe. Like that was the general idea. So that's why the Drolls are in there, and then obviously the Droplets are in there because that's better after they've got to Scythe. I don't think Lancia is too good because they can still get to Scythe under Lancia, so I chose Nib because I was like, you've sort of got to play the odds and you've got to hope that they don't have the Brave Engine stuff first, and then you can nib them before they get there. But because I'm on the free Gorga, the free Veiler as well, like that obviously gives me the sort of nib Veiler, nib Gorga combo. I never did it, but like, and this is just, it's got quite a lot of coverage as well. There's a lot of like, it's good against dragons, obviously when they don't have the Brave stuff. It's good against people who just can't play around, like their hand might be too weak to play around it, and then nib is just an absolute blowout. It's good against VW as well, which I played. This literally won me the game against VW. Free Crows, again, this is the sort of whole process of trying to get in before the Scythe. But this also has like the most work Crow put in for me this like in the tournament was definitely against Eldritch, because I was just hitting Golden Lords all the time, and obviously you only have to hit 2 before they can't kill you. Cosmics, again, sort of wanted to hit the Scythe. Cosmics, like people are saying like, oh, you can get Lancia side in against you and then Cosmic's bad. Like that is true, but I just feel like it's got better coverage against the siphon. That was all I was worried about. So same theory of the evenly. Like when I'm putting evenly in, I don't normally put evenly in against combo decks.
Yeah.
Because obviously like they'll just have a negate. I'm putting evenly in against Eldritch. So like this was like a lot of Eldritch hate, which worked pretty well because I played quite a lot of Eldritch. And then play the 1 token collector. You've got to be on the 1 token collector when you're on the Rise of Dragon, the 1 Duster and then the 1 Reboot. The final round lasted like 10 minutes because I did my full combo. He's playing Eldritch. I knew him though because he's from my locals. Try to play out, but just got overpowered. And then game 2 I drew Reboot. So
wow.
it was over. It was over like really quickly.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'll just run through the sort of the standard board and like what I do turn 3 for the crackback almost. So you've got your oh, this is the wrong way. I'm not going to be good enough to be able to flip all this around. But
It's
basically,
fine.
yeah. So you've got your 2 negates. You can sort of fire off your Savage negate as frequently as you want because you've got like another 2 next turn.
Yeah.
Against Eldritch as well, just do this and attack because that puts them on 800 and it turns off all the strikes, which is what I was doing all day and it was working really well. You've got your Snow Engrave so you can book a moon, and then you've got your spheres, right? So your sphere.
Hello?
That's a quote I was saying there.
Yes, okay.
The spheres goes into the abs, and then the abs gets you back to Synchron, and then you've got the boot sector as well up, and then you've got the tracer and the recharge in the grave. So like let's say your whole board gets wiped, and because in this scenario, because you're using Seal Attribute itself to summon the abs, you're not utilizing Snow twice, which means you have more cards in the grave. So you're going to be able to utilize Snow twice in your turn. So you can go right. So standby main, whatever. You use your boot because they'll probably have 2 cards in the field if they've cleared your whole board. Yeah. Then you can make the Scarlet, and this just applies so much pressure straight away. Because if they can't stop this. Like if you hit them for like 2 cards, because they would have had to have that. That's 4k on board. That is so much damage.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Synchron into the abs, and then obviously you can start like if you need the hot red, you can go to the hot red. If you want the Chaos Ruler, you can go to the Chaos Ruler. Assuming you don't whiff, you've got another card in your hand. Obviously, you put that in type if you go inside. And then you make the dark, and then so you've added off the Chaos Ruler. You make the dark, you bring their dark back, you go unicorn, discard. Obviously this whole what I'm doing here doesn't account for the card that you've drew for turn or the 2 that would have been left off the standard combo in the first turn. So then you discard whatever you added off the Chaos Ruler or whatever you want. And then you've got you've now blown the whole field or baited in a gate. You've gone into unicorn, you've spun something, and like I say, you've got 2 live snows. So now you can snow book something if you want. Make access code. The hell kind of ROM would be in the grave if you've done the standard combo, and then you've got 4 banishes off the and a Rise of Dragons in the grave as well. You've got 4 destruction destroys, and then you've got the Chaos Dragon. And it's this game like that is so much pressure. So it's like a boot, like a complete board wipe, and this solves the problem of the follow up. And this problem's like only solved because I play the 2 abs and the 2 synchron, but I've always been on 2 abs and 2 synchron because I cut the chamber package quite early in the dragons because I'd prefer to just bring out the abs. So like, and this was like. This is also good against combo, but having the second abs and having the second synchron is good against like random rogue stuff that you're gonna play, where they're just gonna like your board isn't going to like kill them because their deck doesn't play like into your board because they're on Eldritch or something. They're just like setting 5 and pass. It's not like you're gonna be able to like go like plus off your negations. So like just having the more stuff in the deck, I just felt like it was so much stronger like in the later turns of the game.
Fair. Is there anything you would change with the list? Like etch deck, side deck wise, main deck maybe? Or were you happy overall?
To be honest, I was happy because I try to just solve the bricking problem by like adding more Noctos, and like I'm really happy with the main. I'm really happy with the extra. I think with the side deck, like if I was playing a YCS, it might be slightly different, but I think with the format at the moment, it's so like underdeveloped that it's difficult to like predict, especially at a UK regional. Like, come on, like you know what they're like. Yeah. So it's but the Eldritch hate was really good because I played 3 Eldritch decks. I drew to one of them, but to be honest, when I look back on the game, it was a hindsight. Like I should have some of the snow in the battle phase and attacked over one of his Eldritch cards, and then that would have put enough damage on like a couple of turns later. But I think it's so difficult to see like that far ahead in the game. But that would have given me more time to beat him in game 3. And like he was sound as, by the way. Like everyone at the regional, everyone I played, like they're all congratulating me when I won. Like everyone was sound. It's just like he come up to me and he was like, yeah, like 3 more minutes, and because he just summoned the Heavenly Prison in defense, and I couldn't out it because he did it in a battle phase, and I only had Brave stuff because I'd sort of bricked. So I couldn't out the Heavenly Prison, so I just couldn't do any damage, and then we ended up drawing.
The funny thing with that is though, Jake, if you won that game, if you saw that hindsight play, you might not have won the tournament because all your opponents would have been different from that point on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But I think you've always got to look back and like look at what you could have done differently.
Exactly.
Like there's previous events where like I've called the event wrong and I played like loads of Eldritch and I've had nothing in my side for Eldritch, and I'm like, well, that's a deck building error. Like although I like feel like I've hardly knew that I played like 3 Eldritch players in a row and they've all had skill drain, but like at the end of the day I could have put more Eldritch hate in my side to win. So like it is definitely something you can control almost everything. Obviously, like if you're getting Nibin perms, like that's practically Exodia this format. Like there's nothing you can do about that.
Okay, yeah, great profile, Jake. Any shout outs you'd like to give before we wrap this up?
Yeah, so like people like obviously everyone at like my locals Beanie Games for doing it, and then I want to give like a special shout out to my mate DWOW, because I was in a call with him and I told him I was thinking about not playing droplets, and the guy literally lectured me for like an hour straight, and then I come out the call playing droplets. So and I was so happy that I did because it come up so much. So but yeah, like everyone at the event was great, and everyone at like my locals and like my little brother as well. I think he wanted to shout as well. Give him one.
Nice one. All right, Jake. Congrats on winning the Leeds Regional. Hopefully we'll see you again soon, and good luck for the rest of your tournaments.
Thank you very much. Cheers.